Hey boys and girls, today we're going to review and practice more multiplication by deepening our understanding on the relationship or connection between multiplication and repeated addition. And then we're going to practice using any strategy that we've learned so far, whether it's an equal groups model, an array, or repeated addition to solve word problems. Let's get started. So yesterday we reviewed that multiplication is just another way to solve repeated addition. If you look at this visual, you can see that there are 5 groups, and each group has 3 hearts inside. If I were to ask you to find the total number of hearts, you could certainly just count them all. Counting up all of the hearts would give you the total number. But now what if I asked you to find the total number of hearts, but you could only do so by writing an addition equation? What would you write? So today, let's think about what matches this model and write an addition number sentence. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each group and I'm going to see how many hearts are inside of this group. And right here there are 3. So my first number is going to be 3. We know that in this group there's 3 as well. So if I were to count them, that's essentially adding another group of 3. And here I have another one. So I should be adding another group of 3. And here's another group. So I'm writing plus 3. And our last group, which is plus 3. We know that when we see an equal groups model, we can find the total by adding each group. I'm noticing that there are 3s. We're adding a set or group of 3 each time because this model has a group of 3. There's one group, group 2, group 3, group 4, and group 5. Let's keep going. All right. So when we add the same number over and over, that's called repeated addition. The word repeat means something happening over and over. So when we add the same number more than once, that's called repeated addition. There are equal groups here. And we know that an addition number sentence for this problem that we just said is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. I'm seeing that there are 5 groups. So when I'm looking at my addition number sentence, I should see that there are 5 groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what if instead of just 5 groups of hearts, what if I had 70 groups of 70 groups and there were 3 hearts in each group? We could count all of the hearts, but that would certainly not be the most efficient strategy. We could miscount or we could lose track of our counting, and it would take a long time to get to the correct answer. And sometimes we might not even get to the correct answer because it's tricky counting all of those hearts. So that is where multiplication comes in. We can multiply instead of adding the same number or using repeated addition and still get to the correct total number of hearts. In some situations, we can use repeated addition to find the total, or we can just multiply our groups by how many in each, and we'll still get the total number of hearts. And in that case, we're being more efficient because we're getting to an answer quickly and we're getting it correct. So let's think about what multiplication number sentence matches this. So I'm going to quickly just review. We know multiplication starts with our groups and then how many in each. So let's figure this out. Our groups, how many groups do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 groups. And there are how many in each? 3 hearts in each. 5 times 3 is 15. And we know then that 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 15. We just wrote it as a multiplication sentence, but they still get us the same total. I want to quickly erase my multiplication and just point out something I'm seeing with addition. In an addition number sentence, we're seeing 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. That really means that there are 3 in each, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 5 groups. And another way to say it is 5 groups of 3, which means 5 times 3. Let's go to the next one. Here I'm showing an array, and I want us to first start by noticing how this can be written, or this number sentence can be written in 2 different ways. We could solve it as a repeated addition equation, or we could solve it by multiplying. And we just said both of them will get us to the correct answer, but good mathematicians want to work efficiently. We want to get the answer quickly and get the correct answer. So let's first just by starting by circling my groups. This is what I like to start with when I see an array. Our groups are the rows, and we know the rows go side to side. So in repeated addition, we're counting all of them up, but we're going to count our each. So in this first group, what is my each? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to have 5. Then I'm going to add another set of 5 because I have my second group. So plus 5. Then I have another group of 5, so I'm writing plus 5. And then I have a fourth group of 5, so plus 5. And a fifth group of 5, so plus 5. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Watch what I do here. Let me circle them like groups. How many groups do you see in this addition number sentence? Or how many 5s do I see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 groups. And how many are in each group? Well, look at my number. I keep adding over and over. 5. There are 5 groups of 5, which also is 5 times 5. In repeated addition, you are just adding your each factor over and over. And you're doing it the amount of groups that you have. So in this case, I'm going to add the number 5, and I'm going to do it 5 times. And as you can see this visual over here, this matches it right up. There are 5 groups with 5 little orange shapes in each. Let's keep going. Here's another array, and we're going to, again, I'm going to always start by labeling my groups. Groups are the rows go side to side. So if I were to say, solve this by adding, I'm going to add my each, because repeated addition is adding your each. How many is in this group? Group 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 in this group. And there's 5 in my second group. Notice I'm only got to my second group, so there are 2 5s. Now I'm adding my third group, so I should have 3 5s. And now I'm adding a fourth group, so now there's 4 5s. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 means 4 groups of 5. I'm going to say that once. 4 groups of 5. I know I can write that as multiplication, and it will still get the same total. 4 groups of 5 means 4 times 5. And we can count them all up. We know that 4 times 5 equals 20. And we know that 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is the same as that. So my total also will be 20. So let's look here again. This is a repeated addition number sentence. And if I asked you to solve this, you could do two things. You could draw a visual that represents this, or we can rewrite it as multiplication. Let's hold off on the visual and rewrite it as multiplication. So if I'm looking at this, I always try to visualize your groups. Circle that number you're adding over and over. And I want you to remind yourself, thinking of these as equal groups. How many groups did I just circle? How many sets of 3? Count your circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 groups. So think, picture 6 groups. How many are in each group? We'll just look at your each. In your in your addition number sentence, what number are you adding over and over? That's your each factor. You're adding that number 3 over and over. So what this means is there are 6 groups of 3. Think of our multiplication. 6 groups of 3. Our first factors are groups. We just said there are 6. So 6. And there are 3 in each. So my second factor is 3. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is the same as writing 6 times 3. And we know 6 times 3, we could count them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 is 18. So that must mean then that 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 18. These are just 2 strategies we could use to find a total of something. One might be more efficient than the other. Now let's read this word problem.